divas. I have an unboxing video that I was not, I did not realize I was going to get to do today, because I pre-ordered this deck, and it doesn't come out until Tuesday, and my Barnes & Noble doesn't care about your release dates. I bought it. So I canceled my pre-order. Now there's, so anyway, I'm so excited. Evil laugh. Tarot of the Divine by Yoshi Yoshitani. This is a deck that I've been following for a while. A friend said, oh hey, you should check this deck out, I think it's up your alley. And I went and looked at the early artwork, and I was like, yeah, it is. It's fairy tales and mythology from around the world, and it is beautiful artwork, and I was gagged. And I'm like, I want this immediately, and it wasn't done yet. And I think at that point, it was going to be an indie deck, but then a publisher picked it up. I don't even know which publisher it is. Clarkson Potter Publishers, who I do not know as tarot publishers. So anyway, so I've been like waiting for this thirst trap for a very long time, as probably anyone who's watching this video is and has been. So it comes out next week, and there's a hardcover book that Yoshi Yoshitani has created as well, which I hunted high and low in the store to see if they had, because it's not actually a tarot book, it's a book of the stories that these are based on, sort of like a page on each to give you the background of the story and the card and the art. There's a little guidebook in here, but the hardcover book is obviously goes into much more detail. So I was gonna wait, but I wanted to do an unboxing. So what I'm probably gonna do, because I know this deck is beautiful, is come back and do a follow-up video when the book comes out. I'll read the book, and then I'll share some thoughts when the two are together, because they didn't have the book, and because it's not, like I said, it's not a tarot book, it's like mythology and lit crit essentially, and I hunted Barnes & Noble for that. So anywhoozins, let's get into it. Pardon the intrusion of my laptop here, because it will not back up, and I don't know why, and it's pissing me off. So I have it sitting there hoping it'll actually, like, if it stays plugged in long enough, it'll just heal itself. I don't want to hurt the box. It's a beautiful box. Really nicely done. Hello. Let's zoom in. A Scotiafication. I'm so excited. So yeah, lift like that. Oh. So there is a little guidebook. And it's very brief, but it's full color. And we'll look at, we'll look at some of what it says as we go through. Actually, you can see an unboxing of Yoshi Yoshitani unboxing her own deck on her YouTube channel, which I will try to remember to link below. And it's, I just love watching artists experience, their work in print for the first time. So we'll look at the guidebook, really delicious colors, and then here's the deck. Oh look, oh my god, oh, it's got like a it's got like a linen cardstock. Ooh, y'all are gonna like this. I can't wait to shuffle it. So let's zoom in even more. And let's, oh, this will be good for me not to make it messy. All right, so we have the Fool, and I will sort of just talk about the story. Oh, there's some spreads in the guidebook. So the Fool is the Little Mermaid, which is she gives the cultural source. So the Little Mermaid, Danish fairy tale. And I'll just read this so you get a sense of how the guidebook works. The Fool rests on the pinnacle of a decision. She is ready to dive out of her subconscious and into the physical world, to transform from an animal into a human. She is carefree and excited by a new life, regardless of warnings. I really kind of like that, because Disney kind of romanticizes The Little Mermaid. It's a very dark story in the original Hans Christian Andersen. I think she dies at the end. And it's actually really dark because I think she dies to save the prince, which is such like patriarchal and royalistic garbage. But anyway, so then she gives upright meanings and reversed meanings: beginnings, possibilities, impulsiveness, innocence, a free spirit, and then reversed meanings: apathy, hesitation, a faulty choice, doldrums, or recklessness. Now, this art, I'm probably just gonna ooh and ah over all the way through because it is really, 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 really gorgeous. All right, so that's the Fool. The Magician is the fairy godmother. She gives the origins of the fairy godmother as French. I could read every description, but I'm not going to do that. But I will tell you who's who. So the High Priestess Scheherazade, which is an Arabic folk tale, which comes from 1001 Nights. So the Empress is Our Lady of Guadalupe, Mexico, a Catholic saint. And, wow. What's nice is that this guidebook has full color pictures so that I can actually see the art when I'm doing the walkthrough. So I'm also sort of taking it in as I talk you through it. Look how pretty this is, y'all. The Emperor is King Arthur, which is a Celtic legend. I'll just read this because I just started to. The Emperor is the ideal father figure, a warrior and conqueror. King Arthur rules over his kingdom and his sometimes unruly knights with a just and firm hand. He unifies fractious and defends the weak and lends his knowledge and understanding to all his subjects. What I also kind of like about this, it doesn't get into that, maybe it gets into it in the larger book, is that he's very jealous and he's not, so these myths kind of show light and shadow. So King Arthur is a hero, but also very jealous of Guinevere and Lancelot, and yeah, anyway. The Hierophant. So this is the White Buffalo Woman, which is a Lakota deity from North Dakota. I don't know, I can't, it doesn't say, and hopefully the larger book does, how much research the artist did on these topics, but she's specific here to say North Dakota and Lakota deity because too often tarot decks will lump all of indigenous American spirituality or indigenous American groups into one sort of Native American, which is patently untrue and false. There may be overlaps in the Venn diagram of the stories, but it's not one thing. And each group had its own myths and mythologies and stories and spiritualities. So, The Lovers is Beauty and the Beast. So she gives this as a Chinese story, in fact, and a Danish fairy tale. So that's interesting because, of course, it shows how many stories like this span different cultures. So that's The Lovers. The Chariot is The Three Princesses of Whiteland, which is a Norwegian fairy tale. I don't know that story, actually. So I'm already seeing, like, I can't wait to get this larger book. Because though the art is lovely and gorgeous and I love the interpretations, I can't wait to sort of read more about the choices that she made. And in her video, she actually shows that a little bit. Strength is Tonlin, which is Scotland. It's a Scottish fairy tale. The Hermit is Druid and White Stag from Celtic legend. The Wheel of Fortune is Anansi, which is a really famous myth and story in a lot of African communities. This is cited here as Ghana. And this also came with the enslaved people in the United States and became a series of Americanized versions of these stories in the South. So this is a story that has kind of infiltrated, not infiltrated, but been kind of central to a lot of Black and African American cultures. It's one of those things that sort of managed to survive colonialism. So that's actually a story that I know. This is Justice. This is Heng Yosa, which is a Korean legend. I'm embarrassed now that I probably should have looked at this first and figured out how these things are pronounced. So please feel free to correct me. The Hanged Man is Sleeping Beauty, which is an Italian fairy tale. Death is White Bear King Valamon, which is a Norwegian fairy tale. Temperance is Bodhisattva, an Indian Buddhist Bodhisattva. Avalokiteshvara. The devil is a Brazilian mythology Boitata. I really can't wait for the book. Because I want to know these stories. I want to hear more. So absolutely you're going to want the larger book called Beneath the Moon. So if you have pre-ordered the deck and not that book, I would get the 2 Evil A right now and pre-order the book. Rapunzel is the Tower, which is a German fairy tale. The Star is a Russian fairy tale, sister Alyanushka and brother Ivanushka, which is again not a story I know. The Moon is Princess Kaguya, which is a Japanese fairy tale. The Sun is Ra, Egyptian. Judgment is Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, which is a Chinese myth. The World is Hinamoa and Tuten Kai. Sorry, this is like returning to sounding like a moron. Tutanekai, a Maori legend from New Zealand. This deck is beautiful. I really wish there was a pronunciation guide in the guidebook. Like, I think that would actually be really helpful. Because these stories obviously have currency in the cultures they come from. And when we're using them, I feel like it's worth having some help understand, So clearly, now that this is in my life, it's my job to kind of find these stories and learn how the names are pronounced. This is obviously me sounding like a dummy looking at the cards for the first time. But I do think a pronunciation guide would be really helpful. And maybe it's in the Beneath the Moon book, I'm not sure yet. What I really wanted to do is celebrate how beautiful this deck is. Yeah, I think, if we're going to read with this deck, and, you want to know the stories behind it, it's worth knowing, how to say the names, for sure. So that is a regret that I have, is that I wasn't prepared to pronounce them correctly, and that there isn't a guide in some kind. So actually, maybe I can use let's do it right now. Like, this is a thing that we forget to do, right? Like, we have all this technology at our disposal, and we're like, I don't know how to say that. Like, let's find out how to say it. And let's learn more about it. Like, that's what we do. All right. So, that was Hinamoa and Tutanakai. Let's see. Hin. There's Google. The love story. Let's see. Is it going to give me... Hinamoa was the daughter of the great chief who lived at Ohata on the shore of Lake Rotorua. So it's not giving me pronunciations. Let's go to YouTube.
caused great division, leaving two tribes at war. Although the generations had passed, the conflict still remained. Each chief realized this needed to be resolved. A solution was proposed. The daughter of one chief would marry the son of the other to help bring peace. Hinemoa is presented by one tribe, and she is not at all charmed by the chosen rangatira of the other tribe. But she does have eyes for one, and that is Tutanekai.
So, see how easy that was? You know, that took like 3 seconds for me to find someone at least saying them out loud in an approximation better than my guess. So, you know, let's also do our freaking research too. You know what I mean? So it's not that hard to not butcher these names. What was the other one that I couldn't say? Well, there were several, but let's see. There was yes. Let's see. This is AMHAENG That I'm not finding as easily. So it means secret royal inspector, apparently. It's not showing me pronunciation, actually. Amhenosa. So, see, folks, we have all this like technology available at our disposal. The specific bodhisattva, I couldn't say their name either. Let's try this. So this doesn't show it. Isn't it fascinating watching me Google? Anyway, oh, here we go.
Avalokiteshvara.
Okay, Avalokiteshvara. Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara. See, oh my god, like we have access to all of this information if we're not too lazy to do it. So, there we go. You know, and like we forget, right? Clearly I didn't even think of this until it was sitting right in front of me and I was lamenting my not knowing these things in advance. So, you know, it's not hard. I found all of those in like relatively easy time, and even before, you know, even in the minute I was getting frustrated, I was like, oh, there it is. So now we have that going forward. All right, so that's the majors. So then we get to the Ace of Cups, and oh my god, this deck is so beautiful. I'm just Matsuo Sake, which is Japan, Japanese mythology. I really want the stories, so I need the book. I need it to be in my life right now. This is it's from Gilgamesh, Enkidu and Gilgamesh. This is a beautiful. That is a story I know. It's from Iraq. This is a beautiful card. That's a Gilgamesh is the first written story in essence, and the first one anyway that we know was written down. And the relationship between Enkidu and Gilgamesh is really. This is just a beautiful card. To see two male figures on the Two of Cups is always like, you know. Here we have Apsara, which is Cambodian Hindu mythology, and the Three of Cups. The Nightingale from Denmark. La Llorona from Mexico as the Four of Cups. Excuse me. The Six of Cups is the Snow Queen. Which, if you only know the Snow Queen from Frozen, it's a very different story than that, which is... Aladdin, Persia, Arabic folktale, is the Seven of Cups. The Eight of Cups is Moses from Hebrew. Alright, we have another one here. Taj al-Muluk and the Princess Dunya, another Iranian, not another Iranian, an Iranian Arabic folktale. We have another Arabic folktale from Persia. This is Yulnar the Seaborn. The Page of Cups, Bak Unawa and the Seven Moons from the Philippines. The Knight of Cups is Halabu the Hunter from Mongolia. The Queen of Cups is Yamoja from Nigeria. The King of Cups is the Boy and the Dragon Pearl from China. Alright, so now we move into coins. The Ace of Coins is Jack and the Beanstalk from British fairy tales. I have another one that we're going to look up for the two, because I can't really approximate it. Actually, I should probably just leave this here, because I'm going to keep needing it. Alright. Oh. What a mess. I was just so excited to share this beautiful, gorgeous deck. Alright, so, oops, I lost my page. Oh, yes. Oh, I spelled it wrong. So this I can't quite find. Google's telling me there's no results. This is a Haida mythology from the Pacific Northwest, and it's not. I don't even know if I want to try to say it because I don't want to sound. You know, I mean, when you think if you grew up in like Catholic or Christian religion, you know, you would be really offended if someone mispronounced God's name, for example. And so, you know, there's a little bit of like basic respect that goes into saying these names. I cannot find one for this one. I'll spell it. It's Rhpisunt. If you know, please give me a phonetic spelling. Again, I can't wait for the book. I'm finding the name, I just can't find a pronunciation for it. Make sure I spell it right. Rhpisunt, yeah. Let's try on YouTube. It's also possible there's alternate spellings, so I'll have to do a little more Googling on that one. But it's a Haida mythology from the Pacific Northwest. The Three of Coins is from Nepal. It's Tamang mythology. Banjakri and Banjakarini. The Four of Coins is Condor's wife from Peru. The Five of Coins is the Little Match Girl, another Hans Christian Andersen from Denmark. The Six of Coins is the woman who is kind to insects. It's an Inuit fable from Alaska. The Seven of Coins is Aztec mythology. Again, let me see if I can find the pronunciation. I'm seeing phonetic spellings. Nanahuatzen is what that is what that is close to pronounced as. The Eight of Coins is Six Swans, which is a German fairy tale. The Nine of Coins is the Legend of the Watermelon from Vietnam. The Ten of Coins is Panhu from China. It's a Yao legend. The Page of Coins is a Sweden Sami deity. I can't pronounce this either, so let's give it a quick Google.
Davinmada.
So it sounds like Baivinada. And then that's the Page of Coins. The Knight of Coins is from South Africa. And we'll Google that too. Haitsi Ibib from South Africa. The Queen of Coins is an indigenous Australia from Northern Australia. And let's Google that one too. Yes, I did spell it wrong. I can't find this one on Google. Let's try YouTube. Nothing there. I'm not getting any results for this one. This looks like... Nope, that's not the same. All right, so I will have to do some research on this one. Wara Muranganju, I'll say. This is the King of Coins. It's the world turtle, which is something that exists in many Native American stories. This is based on Iroquois mythology. So it's based specifically on that iteration of the story. Ace of Swords is the Gordian Knot, which is a Greek legend out of Turkey. The Two of Swords is Sita, an Indian Hindu epic from the Ramayana. The Three of Swords is the Crane Wife from Japan. The Four of Swords is Fenrir from Norway. The Five of Swords is Osiris, Set, and Isis from Egypt. The Six of Swords is Danae and Perseus from Greece. Perseus, sorry. Need to get my eyes checked, too. That's another thing. It's been a minute. The Seven of Swords is Coyote from Pacific Northwest Salish legend. Eight of Swords is Donkey Skin, which is a French fairy tale. Oh, interesting. The Nine of Swords is Oedipus, which is Greek. Ten of Swords is Sedna, which is out of Canada. It's Inuit mythology. The Page of Swords is Princess Parizade, which is an Arabic folktale. The Knight of Swords is Hang Tuah, which is a Malaysian legend. The Queen of Swords is Turndo, which is a Chinese, out of China, but it says it's an Arabic folktale. The King of Swords is the Griffin, which is Persian mythology. And then finally we have wands. So we have the magic paintbrush from China. The Two of Wands is Janus from Roman mythology. The Three of Wands is the Enchanted Pig out of Romania. The Four of Wands is Mohini and Aravan, an India Sanskrit epic poem. The Five of Wands is the Pandavas, another from India. The Six of Wands is Yanenga from Burkina Faso. We have John Henry as the Seven of Swords from Alabama. This is the Rainbow Crow from Lenape legend. She writes disputed here, so it may be either that there's no evidence that that's part of the legend or that that's the specific group that it came from. So she at least acknowledges that it's not 100% sure. The Nine of Wands is Vasilia the Beautiful, which is a Russian fairy tale. Look at these. This makes me want to sit down and read all these stories. And I'm probably going to, because we have nothing but time lately. The Ten of Wands is the Timbo tree from Paraguay. The Page of Wands, let me see if I can find this one. The ones that I'm most, I'm concerned about all of them, obviously, you know what I mean, but there are many languages in the world where vowels don't carry consonants, and so I want to, M-W-I-N-D-O. Nothing there.
Window.
Window. The other thing that, of course, I should say is, like, I'm not going for, I'm going for the first few things I find, which doesn't necessarily mean I'm finding the right one. But the point is here that we can easily find it if we want to. And that it's not that hard, you know, which we just get lazy, particularly those of us who aren't coming at these stories from our own lived experience, right? The Knight of Wands is Tatterhood from Norway. And then we have the Queen of Wands, which is Pele from Hawaii. And then finally, the King of Wands is the Phoenix from East Asia. And wow, what a, like, gorgeous work of art. Let's put my laptop aside again. Oh, I closed it. Damn. Oh, no. I was trying to keep it open because it won't back up now. Ugh. Crud balls. Alas. Technology. See, here's the dichotomy of life, right? Like, it helped me find pronunciations for things I didn't know how to pronounce, and it's also messing with my day. Let's shuffle this bad boy, because, oh yeah, that's a tasty shuffle. So yeah, I cannot wait for the book. I really cannot. This is going to be so much to research. I'm going to end up in a rabbit hole of research. I think the art, though, I mean, let's just put the myths aside for the moment. And let's talk about beautiful, beautiful artwork. Let's talk about the Two of Cups with two masculine-appearing figures who aren't skinny, although they're a little muscly, but this deck shuffle's so good. You're going to want to make out with it. I know you will. This back is beautiful. Alright, let's just pull some cards. Look how pretty this deck is. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's beautiful. And you know what I love is that it's not like cheese ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, you're not gonna be able to see that. Doesn't matter, I wanna see it. It's whimsical, but it's not silly. It's not, it's taking fairy tales and mythologies, and it's not patronizing. The art isn't. It's not like a children's book. This is really beautiful art, and it's clear, and you can see what it is. And it's, if you're a Rider-Waite-Smith reader, I think you're gonna, be totally fine reading this. But like, look at how much more we can discover when we're able to get the book Beneath the Moon next week and really dive into her sources and the mythologies, really, so that we understand, what these are being, what she's drawing on. I have been, since childhood, fascinated by the stories of the world. Stories are stories are the first art form. I think, even before drawing, we had stories. I was totally, give me all the fairy tales when I was a kid. Give me the mythologies. Give me, I was particularly interested in creation myths. And these things are so brilliant. And also what's amazing is that though there are so many differences in the myths, there are so many similar things. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is a myth that exists in almost every culture that you can name, has some version of that Beauty and the Beast mythology. So just a textured way of looking at humanity and the stories that come from the different cultures that make up humanity. And at the same time, just look at this reminder that more unites us than divides us, and that our stories capture human experiences in ways that are both unique to each culture they emerge from, but demonstrate that we all have the same fears and the same desire to make sense of the world and to make sense of the unmake sensible. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I know that's like the other side of my lefty liberalism, is that there's like this, we're all the same thing, but like it's true. You know what I mean? Like the things that make us different are so often because of the dominant voices making that proclamation that people are different. Anyway, I won't go down that path again. This is a beautiful, beautiful work of art. I will come back when the book is out, and I'll probably read the book first. In fact, I know I will. And just revisit this so that I can sort of share more with you. Like, this is a first impressions. This is, it's a discussion of honestly, like, my own, like, you can see evidence here of, like, my own laziness in those early cards where I was like, okay, I'm just going to mangle these and not bother to try to find the pronunciations. And it was so easy once I decided to do it. You know what I mean? Like, all I had to do was, like, literally Google it, and each one, for the most part, took a couple, a minute or less. And there are some that obviously I need to do some research on, but it's so doable. You know what I mean? And, like, in the space of a 40-minute video, I managed to find quite a lot, without a whole lot of effort. So, like, let's also be respectful and not lazy about, when we're doing these things and telling these stories and using these myths, to say, hey, all right, well, let me at least come close to finding the pronunciation or some approximation of it that's close. You know what I mean? Like, let me at least do that. So that is a thing that I certainly, as evidenced in this video, could do a better job of. And clearly many of us, I think, have that experience. And it doesn't really matter who we are. I think it's worth offering that to the creators of these stories, to the cultures where these stories emerge from. Like, if we get to enjoy the myths, then let's actually learn enough about how to say the damn names, which, like, and, like, this isn't a lecture, because obviously I did that at the start, and I was like, I guess I'll just do that thing of, like, I don't know how to say this, so I'll just mangle it. Like, no, let's actually learn how to say it. And so that's another thing I'll do before I come back and look at the book, is I'll actually do my own, in depth, to make sure that I can say the titles once we tell, when I won't, like, obviously go through the whole book, but I want to be able to, like, if I do reference one of the stories, say the name correctly. And obviously it's not hard to do. So, lesson learned, in my case, but just this deck is so beautiful, and, like, they did a beautiful job packaging it. The cardstock is linen and yummy, and it shuffles so nicely, and I think that this is going to be a big, 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 big hit, and rightfully so. Thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with me, and I hope you're safe and healthy. Think about your neighbors, protect yourself, wear a mask, and hopefully by this year we won't even have to talk about that stuff. So, be good.